this year? Because right now I'm too busy. So is it what do you have in
We
your
are,
planning this year?
yeah, we are thinking of doing another group, another cohort, probably in the fall, right, Mickey? I think we even
Yeah,
have.
we are. Yeah, we haven't actually decided for 100%, but it looks like, yeah, we should be doing that. Yeah, I know what the problem is. There are two meetings with the same name, unfortunately. And for some reason, it goes up live and it doesn't appear on YouTube. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to fix this.
Why don't I tell the people who are waiting on YouTube to join us on Zoom, and then we'll just
Yeah,
record the Zoom.
yeah,
So
exactly.
then uh, yeah, and then we can always post it later.
I had some difficulty joining today
Did
somehow.
you
I don't
did you
know.
come then? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
I think part of the problem I didn't realize is you don't copy and paste the passcode. If you do that, it doesn't accept. So I tried several times. I thought I had the wrong one. Then I thought I'll type it in and then it worked. So maybe my apology. Maybe that's the problem
hmm.
other than having to. So if you copy and paste from WhatsApp into
It
the
it
Zoom,
doesn't
it doesn't work.
it
Yeah.
doesn't work directly. Well, Nikki, why don't we start
Yeah.
recording? And especially since Natalie only has 15 minutes, we should get started. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for taking the time to come and join us. We hope to be able to answer your questions about this MindsetMaps coach, professional coach certification.
Yeah, well, welcome to everybody. And I think we wanted to kind of start with just showing you, some of you may have seen this before, what the inventor is, but we actually wanted to start by, you know, reminding everybody what this is. And so I think I'm going to share screens here. And
Yeah, we have a presentation and a few questions already. Um,
yeah, which we have received from a number of people here. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, excellent. So starting with, the coach certification program, and then, just starting with this definition of what this is. And, it's an assessment and development tool, which helps people better understand their own mindset and also to make some key adjustments necessary in order to reach both important business, but also life goals.
Yeah, so this tool that we have developed that is something that people can use. You can go up online. There's a part of it that it's free, but then there's another part where you can get a premium report, and also where we will be directing people towards coaches. Or if you are a coach, we'll explain how you can get a special code and a link, and you can use this and follow your own clients.
So, here we say it helps people to better understand their own mindset and make key adjustments. So what that means is if there's an adjustment, clearly there is a present state of your mindset, and then there is a goal that you might have, and then there is an ideal mindset. And so this ideal mindset in the system, it comes from our research, and that's what we are comparing your present mindset to. And that's what allows us to then recommend adjustments. And in terms of adjustments, we actually have 50 tools built into this system. So, I want to kind of move on to the next question. Okay, so why should you even consider becoming a professional mindset map coach? And, this slide is looking at things from more like a coach perspective. But we do want to mention that people, when we say this tool helps people to get a better idea about their mindset, we mean different types of people. So we mean coaches and consultants, organizational development consultants, but we also mean HR professionals, and we mean very much entrepreneurs and leaders. So when we go through these 3 points here, this is kind of coming from the coach's perspective, but we might allude a little bit to those other people as well.
And the main things, the reasons why is it's a really, and I'm assuming that hopefully most of you have already been up there and tried it, but it's a very powerful tool that helps to, as we say, on the one hand, demystify mindset, but also to go deeper with clients. I think it really offers a really good starting point and gives really important distinctions for clients to work with, especially if they are working to either build a business or take their current venture to a new level.
And what we understand is, globally on the market, there isn't really a tool today that speaks specifically to mindset. So at the same time, I don't know what you find, but myself as a coach, but also as a consultant working with really large companies and sometimes working with small and medium-sized companies as a coach, everybody is interested in mindset. Everybody knows that attitude is paramount in performance, but no one really has a tool to work with it. So, they say you got to hire people for attitude because it's unchangeable. And interestingly, what we have found in our work is that it's not really true, right? Because your attitude is probably a function of your mindset. But how do you understand your mindset? And that's where this mindset tool comes in. And that's why we believe that it is actually a great differentiator for someone who is in this space, because you can make the intangible tangible. You can measure at the beginning of the coaching process. You can measure in the middle of the coaching process. You can measure at the end of the coaching process. And you can prove, and again, I don't know about you, but for me, one of the biggest questions that I always get as a coach from, the CEO or the director or the HR director is, how do you prove to me that what you're doing is effective? Like, prove it to me. And that's where we coaches began to sweat, because we know that vision is paramount and purpose is paramount and passion is paramount. But how do you show it in a tangible way to someone who speaks a little bit of a different language than you? Well, now we have the map.
Yeah.
So
what Mickey was saying before, who should certify and why, and we said, of course, there's coaches, but we find that this is a useful tool that we use in consulting. In fact, our generative consulting book gives a number of examples of how the mindset map was used in consulting, but also for HR professionals and business leaders.
And, the next slide is sort of building on this idea that, you could use this in individual coaching, defining the starting point, defining the end point, defining the key milestones, and be able to measure. You could also use it in team coaching where, let's say the question is the team on the same page? Do we all have the same mindset? Are we going to the same direction? But you could also use it in talent development work where, let's say I'm an HR professional and I'm supposed to coach internally or help people to get somewhere. Again, I can map their mindset and I can show the progress. And then, 2 more areas, change management work. We wanted to bring that out because I think it's so relevant in today's world. Again, in change management, everybody knows now there's some understanding that, it comes down to psychological factors. It comes down to how people react to change. But again, how do you influence mindset so that it's more accepting to change or is more willing to work with you as you are trying to bring along a team?
Similar with OD consulting, when you're trying to move the organization to as a whole to a new state or new space, like again, moving through transition or dealing with crisis or even growing, a lot of it is about, it's not just about actions, it's about mindset. And one of the things that we'll be also sharing about a little bit later is we're working on some B2B versions where you would be able to have you being able to use the mindset map with teams.
Right. So then, just a quick mention that when we ask our friends in our coach faculty, and we have now 26 people globally already certified, and they're in various countries from Russia to the US to Spain, Germany, France, Italy, the Netherlands, Latin America. And, it's a community. We do best practice sharing. We do have an ongoing supervision program
Right.
where we meet monthly and we share case studies. And Robert, do you want to say four and five?
just that. Well, we're, this is it's something that we're continuing to develop. Like he was saying, it's related to this SFM brand, but MindsetMaps is its own brand, and we are a big part of what we do, especially when somebody joins when a client joins as a premium member, is we give them a coach referral. So there was also be business referrals.
So one of the differences is that MindsetMaps as a organization is intending to face towards the customers directly as well. So we intend to significantly invest into finding roads into the business community, talking to companies, talking to entrepreneurs, and then attract them to do the inventory, and then attract them to you. So I think it's not just this time. It's not just a coach institute that we're talking about. We're really talking about bringing this tool into the business world, which is our vision.
Yeah, Mickey and I have been working on a global marketing plan that we'll be sharing with our coaches also a little bit later. So,
yeah.
So these are some questions that we know. I mean, this is what our goal for this live event here is. What questions of, well, so, what are some of the questions? And one of the first ones is, since I was just mentioning the SFM brand, and that MindsetMaps has appeared in a couple of the SFM books, in particular the Conscious Leadership book. But so one question is, well, how is it different than SFM? And certainly the mindset map draws from distinctions in SFM and relates to, for example, aspects of the circle of success. But it really is its own. It's a complementary process and a complementary model. So it works well with SFM. And in fact, part of what we'll do in the coach training is we go in depth with how exactly the mindset map connects to various distinctions, especially in the circle of success.
And you could ask the same question: how is it different from generative coaching? And again, the idea is that generative coaching is a way of coaching people. It's a methodology on its own. And generative coaching, people are sometimes, your customers are sometimes susceptible to it. Sometimes they find it hard to understand, because the point is it does magic, but how do you prove it? So I actually, again, think that, this is a tool that proves that if you are a generative coach, that you can do magic. And you don't have to you don't have to convert the person up front. You can say to them, look, take this inventory. And the inventory already is going to give you a very clear starting point. And that starting point is going to include a lot of things which we use in SFM and in generative coaching. It will talk about purpose and mission and vision and ambition. But it does it so that it's kind of like in very simple terms. So someone who hasn't been through an SFM training, who hasn't been to a generative coaching session, which is probably most of our clients, right? We're not selling to, unfortunately, yet to generative coaching graduates, but we are selling to the business world. So again, this is a really nice complementary thing to make the intangible more tangible.
We do have in the mindset map, we do have what we call the Coach Plus model, which is our 6 steps, our own 6 steps of how we use the mindset map. And once again, if somebody is a generative coach, this is really an excellent, tool to help them especially extend into the business world. One of the big questions I often get when we do generative coaching training is, how do we use this with people in business? And actually MindsetMaps is a great answer to that.
There was one other question, which is, someone said, yeah, I understand this is a certification, but what's after that? And, our answer to that is that it's a certification so that you can start using this tool in your practice, whatever your practice is. And then as a coach or as a leader, right, or as a consultant. And then what we believe is going to happen is, we're going to introduce the B2B version, as Robert mentioned, which is specifically for organizations. And once that happens, then we are going to have a B2B training as well. If you coming, can you please put yourself on mute? Thanks so much. And we also plan to have a master coach level, which is going to be something that's probably going to happen a year from now, so not this year. Okay.
And then another question that we've gotten, and I know we'll also going to take some questions from you as well, but some of these hopefully might anticipate some of your questions. But there's, in terms of the coach training, are there evaluations? Are there only Zoom presentations? And a training to follow, and at the end of the training we have a certification. And so part of what we're doing this time is we're doing a little bit of a blended version of the training. It is obviously online. Some parts of it you will be able to watch on your own from previous recorded presentations and also previously recorded demos. But what we will be doing during the actual live, online class time is we'll be, taking questions and mostly focusing on cases and demos.
Right. So as you've seen, actually, I'm going to switch over to this one here just for a moment, because this one has the sort of when investment column, but it's got 5 modules. The first module is going through the 5 key entrepreneurial goals and the connecting successful mindsets. And that's, again, something, as Robert said, that you can watch online. Then we have module 2, module 3, module 4, and module 5. Module 2 is going to be focused on the Coach Plus process, which is sort of the proprietary MindsetMaps coach process. And here, you're going to be able to watch, again, some theory recordings and some demo recordings. And when we get together, we are going to summarize the theory again and do some live demo coachings with participants. We're going to be doing breakout rooms where you're going to be able to practice what you have seen and what you have seen on the video as well. And we're going to be doing Q&A. Then module 3 is going to be what we mentioned, the SFM.
Yeah, sort of the deeper dive into the SFM, and in particular, the circle of success, and how we can map between the mindset map and the circle of success. And I think that one gives us a really enriched understanding of the mindset map and how it can be used.
And then, the module 4 is based on the idea that there are 49 NLP-based tools, coaching tools that are part of the system. And again, the beauty of it is that, let's say you're an entrepreneur and you identify a gap around, lacking your vision and sense of direction, you will be recommended some tools that you can have access to. But quite frankly, if you don't have an NLP master practitioner, you will find it very interesting, but you will probably say, I need a coach. And that's when, we're going to be able to connect that person with one of you coaches, one of our certified coaches in the faculty. So
I would also just say one other thing too, which is that a tool is a tool, but we all know that sometimes you need to have. It's different trying to use the tool on your own than using it with a coach. I actually was just doing a program this last weekend with a big group in China, and one of the persons there, was very advanced, like a master practitioner or anything, but still having the coaching experience was important. And one of his big learnings from the process was, yeah, there are times when I need a coach, even though I know all the tools. Knowing the tool is not what is needed, and I think that's another important part of what we're doing in this module 4.
Yeah, and then module 5 is really going to be, between sort of module 4 and 5, the rubber hits the road, and you're going to be doing some live coaching sessions with some friendly customers, clients. Sometimes they can be family members, but we would welcome real clients if you're comfortable. And then you come back to the supervision module number 5, where you're going to be doing live coaches in triads. We're going to have some people who are going to be resourcing with us. So those are coaches from the previous faculty. And so they will be participating in the breakout groups as well. So pretty much most of the time, you will have the benefit of having someone else with you as well, kind of a third person to shadow the work that you're doing and getting some feedback, which I think is big, because sometimes what happens in the breakout rooms is that you're kind of left alone, and not this time, and not in this place. So that's sort of an overview. And I think I'm going to put up this final slide here, and then, let's go to questions. This is just, sort of a summary of the overall value that you get, that, you not only you are participating in this 5 modules, but you're also getting a copy of the Generative Consulting book, which is written by Robert, myself, and other members of the SFM leadership team. You will have access to the coach backend after this, which is basically your admin panel, where you will be able to see all your users or your coachees that have used your coach code, and you will have access to their results. That's $400 of value, and you get that free of charge as part of the package here. You also get your own premium report. So what you've seen on the site, if you've taken it, some of you, I know Albana is here, she has already seen the premium report, but the premium report is like a 30-page, way more in-depth analysis of the mindset. So that's part of the package. And then finally, I let Robert say.
A copy of the coaching workbook. So we put together a workbook that has all of the 49 tools and how to. Sorry. Again, it's a workbook that you could even use on its own, but it's really I think very powerful to supplement what you're doing on the online inventory. So it gives you a printout and goes more in depth in in explaining what the different evaluations are about.
Yeah, so in a bird's view, that's what we're talking about, and I think I wanted to sort of go to a gallery view here and let everybody ask questions. We actually do have one person here, Massimiliano Tavolacci, welcome from Italy, and he has already gone through this, so he can contradict us or confirm.
Much more.
So he's available as well, and we are available. What kind of questions do you have?
Yeah, so we sort of anticipated a few, but we're wondering if there's any others that you might have specifically. You can either raise your hand, or mechanically raise your hand, or put them in the chat. However, it works easiest for you.
Yeah, I see actually that there are already some questions in here.
Are there some in the chat?
Which says, who is certified from Germany? Actually, at the moment, we have somebody who is a business leader from Germany, and so, but he's not in the coaching profession. And we do have somebody who signed up for this year's, but to be honest, nobody yet. Between those two, they will be the first. And whoever else
But
joins.
you could also be the first.
Yeah. Yeah. That was the one question I saw here, and Albana pointed out
Good.
the report is fabulous. Thank you.
Gudrun?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you already assumed that was me. So, no, you just mentioned that there is someone from Germany. So that's why was my reflection. And I wanted to know how will you market this tool so that people get to know to it?
Yeah, that's a great question. Like, and that's what I was saying. Yeah, we're putting together our marketing plan. We're going to have obviously we're going to be using so a couple of things. Number one is we've already written about it in the generative consulting book, so it's going to get out there. We of course are going to be making announcements to our through our social media. So I've got my LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. But we are planning to, we will be bringing this into various conferences. Mickey and I are going to be presenting about this at the ANLP conference in April. Also, we'll be bringing it to the IAGC conference, etc. So this is one of the other things that we're planning to do. Also, we'll be kind of continuing to do various, live promotional events, especially as we get, the B2B version ready and stuff like that. So we're definitely working on a global marketing plan.
And to mention one more thing, I think which is important, we are also establishing partnerships for various geographies. Those are kind of the next sort of logical step in the process, and we are in the process of establishing it for 2 countries, 2 languages at the moment. It looks like Italy and France will be the first, and the idea of the partnership is to be able to create sort of a strategic partnership with an entity that is then working on the local language availability of the inventory, probably to create a coach faculty for that geography, because a lot of the people, so we understand that, Germans, French, and Italians, they all think they're one of a kind, and they are. And I'm a Hungarian American. I'm one of a kind. So the idea is that we will need to create local supervision groups, local programs. We might, in some cases, need to adjust certain things in the inventory so that it speaks to the local culture. So the partnerships are another major idea for marketing and working together in a win-win setup.
Okay. Any other, do you have any particular questions, Gudrun, about the marketing that you might?
No, I was just thinking about going beyond our own world of NLP, SFM, and generative coaching, but really to make it to make it available to business communities, maybe to accelerators, So I thought that maybe Mickey, you have some connection or something to this real business world.
Yeah. So one of the directions, if you think about this product, you can identify different directions. So there is something what we call the B2B direction. Then there's something which we would maybe call the B2C direction. And then there's a third, which we would call sort of the professionals using this, because they are supporting leaders and businesses. So the B2B side of things is a next evolutionary step, because we need to make a few adjustments to include leadership practices into the tool, and that's planned for this year. And then what we want to do is, both Robert and I have a lot of connections to major big multinational companies, and we would like to take it to them, but we need to be 100% ready. So that's sort of planned for the second, third quarter of this year. Then what I call the B2C level, that that would be any individuals who are choosing to use this, and they may be entrepreneurs or leaders. So we are going to target them through events, hopefully face-to-face events if the world allows. But until then, with a lot of social media and other ways, we do want to publicize a lot about the mindset maps. I do have some ongoing publications in Psychology Today and Forbes, and so we want to capitalize on that. Forbes is an interesting business place to be. And then we also want to build the professional community, and that's primarily done through these trainings, but also through the partnerships.
Yeah. So I would wait until someone else has a question, and then I ask.
Yeah, so I see that Danielle, that's a question about, is it in French? And we were saying it's currently we're working with a French partner to get that translated into French, Danielle. So it isn't right now, but it will be.
Yeah.
Mauro, I think you had your...
Oh, hi, Robert. Hi, Mickey. Yes, I
Hi.
have a practical question. I think I didn't get, will there be practical example and demos in the 2 hours? And what are the 2 hours pre-training on your own? I saw that there were, before every webinar, before every training, you have 2 hours on your own. What do you do in those 2 hours?
So I was explaining a little bit before. So what we've done is we have recorded from the previous coach training, the presentation, so that you can watch that presentation on your own. So because we want to try to maximize our time, with the participants. So the presentation part of what we would be doing, like when we present the Coach Plus model, or we present something relating to the circle of success, that part is pre-recorded, and you can watch that at your leisure, so that when we are all together on the Zoom, we're focusing on doing case studies, demos, and then Q&A.
Okay, thanks. So it is pre-recorded, and you can watch it, not necessarily the 2 hours before the workshop, anytime.
No, you can watch it anytime.
Oh, okay.
Anytime.
Sorry. Okay, that's fine. Thanks.
Yeah, and that's exactly done to sort of make everything more effective, because if you hear the theory for the very first time, it takes a lot of time. So what we want to do is you will be able to hear the theory first, think about it, come to the session already with some questions.
With your questions.
And we can really focus on answering the questions and do live demos where, we will be doing demos with you if you volunteer, and then there will be practice of what people have seen of the demo in the breakout groups.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Pleasure.
Yeah.
I see Toktam has joined as well.
Hello, Toki.
Hey, welcome. Yeah, we had some issues on YouTube, unfortunately, but I will upload something there, so it will be available. I don't know if you have more specific questions, anyone.
Yeah, to be very concrete, I have a conversation with an investor, and she's an integral investor. Maybe you have heard about her from Akel Group, Mariana Bosesan.
Mm-hmm.
And she is asking for assessments for entrepreneurs to ensure that they really have this holistic approach, and they really think world-centric. And so she asked me, do you have something, or what is your kind of assessment? And in this moment, your offer came in, and I'm not really sure if this would fit completely to what she is expecting, or but I have.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I mean, it depends. Certainly, as you know, the SFM work is intended to be, holistic, and
it's true.
We use that term of integrating ego and soul and all of that. Whether all of the questions fit exactly what she would be looking for is another issue. if we knew, I'd be able to say a little bit more if I could see what kinds of things that they work with or look for in integral assessment.
But in general, you know, we have seen that there are some organizations in the world like Conscious Capitalism, where they talk about sustainability as a criteria, or B Corp. So these are sort of more Anglo-Saxon examples. But in general, I think this approach is literally on target for what they're looking for, because the whole mindset map was created through research and modeling with people who are themselves also conscious entrepreneurs, who care for sustainability, who care for, you know, environment, who consider their team as another stakeholder, and they don't just believe that their businesses are there to make profit, but they also want to make an impact on the world. So actually, if someone goes through this assessment, it allows you to realize what is the holistic view and what elements you are missing. So it could actually be, just by hearing it for the first time, a really good match, but we would have to understand what is the definition, as Robert said. Yeah.
Anyone else have any specific, nice, concrete questions like that? Okay.
Maybe what we could do, if I don't see a hand up.
Yeah.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I joined late. I had to be in another meeting. So what is my question is, I want to work more with corporate, like become a more corporate trainer. So
Yeah.
I was wondering, because I have been in success factor modeling since 2015. Then next year we had like 3 days workshop about that in 2016. And then again, I was able to meet Miki in 2018, the seminar we had in Santa Cruz. So
Right.
and I got the chance to get the premium report yesterday to just review. It was a great report. Good job to put all the information together. But I was just wondering how this certificate may help me to become a better corporate trainer or do stuff for the companies.
Yeah, well, because all of the applications. So it's when we do the practices, we use cases, which of course are corporate cases. Our demos are for, you know, working with, you know, applying the mindset map to, you know, specifically to building a venture or a business. And, you know, I think also it's a little bit like we were mentioning, I think before you came on, Tom, that you have these 49 tools, but the tools themselves, especially for somebody who doesn't know anything about NLP or SFM, they can't really use it themselves. So actually you get work and practice really bringing these 49 different tools into business context. So that would be.
And every example we'll be sharing will be a corporate example. So, you know, it will always be an entrepreneur in, you know, like a smaller company or a mid-sized company or a large-sized company. So basically the focus of the training is pretty much, since, you know, the Mindset Maps tools is intended for leaders and entrepreneurs, our whole focus is on the corporate sector. And you get the chance, you know, in terms of your questions, you can also direct those questions to that direction. But I think that's pretty much what the training is about. So.
Mickey, did we cover all? I think there was one slide that I'm not sure if there was still any questions left on that one slide that might also be useful, because we kind of went ahead, and maybe we could look at that.
I think we pretty much.
Did we cover them all?
Yeah, cover them. Yeah, because we had, you know, this slide.
But if you go back 2 slides, this one.
We had the questions.
Because we have this, if I can't be present to one or more modules, can I see the recording session? So I think that was one that we didn't really address quite yet.
Yeah. So to that point, it is your interest to be in all of the sessions, so we recommend it. If you can't be present in one session out of the 4 which are live, because one is kind of pre-recorded entirely, that's okay with us as long as you watch the recording afterwards. We are also going to record these particular 2-hour sessions every time, and you will get any slides and the recording. And our intention is that we have resource people, so we're going to have some study groups between the modules where you can work with somebody and ask some questions. So that's
I think that's important to bring up, that we are, we have from our last coaching certification group, people who are going to be there as our resource team, and they will be available to help, people with questions between sessions, and we'll probably do some study groups as well. So we also, in our last program, Antonio Mesa did graphic facilitation. So we'll also have that graphic facilitation available. So when you sign up for the course, you get, we're planning to use a Trello site. And on that Trello site, all of the recordings, all, the workbook materials, the graphic facilitation, all of the different pieces that you need will be there and be available throughout the whole program.
Yeah. So I think.
Yeah.
So will there be also a forum where we can exchange meanwhile the training is ongoing?
Yes, that's another thing that we have. We're currently using a WhatsApp, and we'll start a WhatsApp group just with that, and you'll be able to join in with your own cohort, but also with the larger MindsetMap coach faculty.
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Yeah, another one, Gudrun, please.
Yeah, another one, because
this is 4 questions. This is 4 questions. So we like questions.
Yeah. So when I send someone of my customers to get such a report from the website, or how should this be
administered?
Right. So
how is this from the administrative wise that it is my coaching client?
Maybe you can explain that. This is what we're calling the back end. So you get access to special access to this back end.
Okay.
And go ahead, Mickey, you can.
Yeah, so there are really 2 ways of doing it. The way it's set up now is that when a user does the inventory, they can input their coach code. So if you give them your coach code, right, you're going to be able to see and view their results. And then they can either pay through the website, which is sort of a simple way of, paying for the report, or, you could also, as a coach, buy, let's say, 20 reports in bulk from us, and then you tell us, I want to give it to him, and then we allocate those. So some people prefer it this way because they want to build it into their pricing. Others say, I don't want to have anything to do with, like, let them pay through the site. So both are available. And then you have the back end where you have all the results and all the reports, and you can look at it and work with your client.
And what happens when they become a member?
So the difference between the member and the premium report on its own is that as a member, you get to take 6 times the report. So the membership is actually intended for somebody who's working on something bigger and wants to see the progress. And also you get the access to the 5 key entrepreneurial mindset webinars, which is, again, as an entrepreneur, there are 5 key objectives in the system. One is increasing my satisfaction in my work. Another is, creating a more meaningful contribution through my business.
Or another one is, becoming profitable, being, financially, robust. Another is being more innovative and resilient.
Or
and
scale the business. So there are those 5 goals. And for each goals, there's a particular mindset that best supports that based on our modeling and research. So those 5 webinars, if I'm an entrepreneur or leader, I want to get the membership because I'm interested in all 5 mindsets, not just one mindset. And I want to be able to track my progress. So I want more than one premium report. So I should become then, for 6 months, I can become a member. And our idea is that members will be getting content, videos, other articles that, other people don't. So that's the membership idea.
And also part of the professional membership is a 20-minute exploratory session with one of the coach faculty. So that can be, that's one of the ways that we would also be, connecting our coach faculty with potential clients.
So the membership, it's actually a really good question, Gudrun, thank you, because some people I heard it from the coaches. So the membership is not really intended for a coach, a mindset map coach. It's more intended for a business person. Or if you as a coach, you are working on your own venture and you're sort of coaching yourself, then this is for you. But it's primarily for the customers, the end customer, the coachee, and not necessarily. So it's a different sort of box or place than the certified coach community, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe one last question to Max. Massimiliano, do you want to say something in terms of, I'm just curious, and we didn't rehearse this. So in terms of your experience in this course, what would you highlight one thing that was very special to you, or that gave you a different sort of experience than other places?
Yeah, what would you say is benefit?
I think that the community of coaches, when we're learning in month together, we learn viewing something different in different culture. So as a better, stronger mode to learn. And I feel the community is a very, very strong and deep work with people. I can confirm me with Italian, but with other in Russia and in America Latina and in Jordan. So different, and we feel something that is unique for us. So the community is added value, very, very great.
And I would also mention, by the way, that regarding Massimiliano, that him and 2 other Italian coaches decided to become, partner up and be, the partner for MindsetMaps International, and they have not met before. Is that correct? You guys met here?
Yes, it's correct. We never met before, and after this experience, we worked together very well. In just a few time, we have decided to be partner of MindsetMaps International, working together with the 3 Italians that made this experience. And 4, if Mauro can.
Right. So I think that's pretty significant. I mean, so not only globally, but also, locally, things happen and you might start a new venture as a result of this work. And that's exactly what we would love to see. So, yeah.
So, well, we hope that gives you some insight into that. Again, for us, this has been a very interesting journey ourselves, and it's been in some ways quite surprising how useful and how powerful the mindset map distinctions can be to help help clients and also to help ourselves. I mean, it's always interesting for me to take that inventory, because depending upon where I want to focus, sometimes a very important nuance will come out, and sometimes something that's really obvious but's been a blind spot. So it's really a useful way to work with other people. We that's one of the things that we found that our coach faculty has said, is that it's really a great way to really connect more deeply with clients.
And then I kind of, you were asking me before, Gudrun, about the business and the fact that I'm a business guy. And so let me be the business guy and say that quite a few people here said, well, my business doubled. Well, I never had a website. I didn't think it was important because I thought that, it's all about purpose and mission. And as a result of this course, I made some changes, and, it really changed my business. So, for us to hear something like that, I mean, that's music to our ears as well. So there's that effect as well, hopefully. So if I think it kind of brings us to the end here.
Yeah, thank you for
being here.
For being here, for taking your time. And I see that Kamna is also saying that the inventory also shows me the shifts that I have achieved in the process from the first one and before taking the training. So thank you for sharing that.
So feel free to reach out to me at office@mindsetmaps.com, and also if you go on our website, which is mindsetmapsinternational.com/events, that's the registry page. We would love to see you there, and hopefully this was interesting and beneficial and worth your while.
So thank you all for joining. Have a great
Thank you very much.
Have a great rest of your evening for many of you.
And Toki and Albana are already in the group, so you will be hearing a lot from me and Robert. All right.
Okay.
Well, hopefully see everyone else there too. Take care.
Okay. Take care.